Yeah,
Okay.
we're approachable.
We're
All right, ready to go?
Yeah, we knew that.
David back?
Green energy.
Okay, let's roll her. Where are we?
Public question period.
Oh, public question period.
Yeah,
We managed
because
to
the
get
public
everybody
works
gone.
director,
Get rid of the public.
Well, we had a lot of public questions today anyways. That worked good. Okay.
Correspondence?
Correspondence, received for information or requiring direction of council. The only one I want to mention is we've had another motion of not willing host community for North Middlesex. I believe there might be one coming from Center Wellington shortly. So we're getting, seems to be getting one of these every month, right? So one will be coming from closer to home, maybe. I don't know. You want to deal with it, Ben?
It probably doesn't matter which one we support or
It's just
don't
that
support.
I just thought maybe because it's a local one that might be,
Well,
it's supposed to be coming next month, I believe, Bill said.
so will it be on the agenda, or will it just be
It'll be a
correspondence
correspondence,
again?
but we can bring it,
And then
we can bring it
we
off.
can
the
take it
agenda.
off that,
Bring it
make a
forward,
motion
yeah.
if we wish.
I thought maybe. I'll have county council.
month isn't gonna make a
Yeah, I've got county council on Thursday, so I'll check to make sure too.
this unwilling
Okay,
participant.
So, motion for,
motion to accept the correspondence, Deputy Mayor Fisk. Councilor Turton, all in favor? Carried. Okay. Economic Development, Belinda. Belinda likes to be home in bed by 9 o'clock, so I don't know. I'm getting close.
I know it's a heavy agenda, so I'm not going to take up much of the time, but there is a recommendation that we have coming forward, so I didn't know if there's any questions on that. But before that, I wanted to just say thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for hosting a lovely Business Achievement Awards the other night, and congratulate all the nominees and the winners. And if you haven't heard, Employer Excellence, Whiteman Telecom was the winner of that. Corporate Citizen, Leslie Motors. Our Innovation Award was a tie between MSW Canadian Plastics and the Prescription Shop. And the outstanding organization was the Sharing Our Faith Quilters Guild, and Ron Leslie was recognized as the Citizen of the Year, Outstanding Citizen. So it was a good night at the Chamber Awards for those
Excellent.
that missed it. It was a good night. And then you have your minutes, and if there's any questions or
Questions?
comments, I can answer those.
Have a motion to accept. Councilor Faulkner, Councilor Hamley, all in favor? Carried. Thank
And
you.
there is that recommendation, so I'm not sure when you,
And we'll be doing that later, right, the recommendation?
or you've,
No,
I guess you've
it's in
accepted
here.
the minutes,
Oh, is it
so
in
you've
there?
We've
accepted
accepted
the
Sorry, it is.
recommendation.
That's right, okay.
Excellent, okay.
Right. Well, it's in there already. We talked that out anyways. That's fine, okay.
oh,
Mayor Bridge?
Yes.
This municipality comparisons, that's part of the same report then, is it?
Yeah.
yeah. that's-
Are we gonna maybe look at that in a little more
Yeah.
detail
Oh,
at some
yeah.
time?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because when it was given to us, it was given on the basis that there would be some
Local knowledge.
local input to it, because some of the figures could be different.
I have the full electronic version of the statistics, if you're interested in seeing them. It's a lengthy document, so we didn't want to make copies. So if you're interested, I can send it to you, but yeah, please, when you're looking at it, you'll want to read it with a grain of salt, because like all statistics, there's flaws in the data.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Figures lie,
and but I think
liars
what,
figure.
what you guys are gonna do in economic development is kind of peruse, you haven't had a chance to get into them yet, Economic Development Committee, to look at them in any detail.
Carol just reviewed
Yeah.
those with the
So-
committee, and he found flaws.
Yeah, so we're gonna try to correct the flaws and go from there, right?
It's a tool.
Statistics, that's right.
You gotta use local knowledge in there.
Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah. Some of them are kind of
Just,
out of whack.
if I might ask a question, Mayor Bridge, the GSW situation in Fergus, is that going to be of any benefit to TG Mento?
Yes, come up here, dear.
You don't have to.
Better come over here. Right when that all broke, we obviously connected right away with TG Minto, and we're working with Yana at the county. She's working with GSW. We contacted TG, and we've put the two companies in touch. So they are definitely aware of what workers are out there and that there's opportunities available for them. So it's basically up to those people
Sure.
to connect, but we have connected the two
And
employers.
the county's taking a lead role in that with the companies to work.
With GSW.
With
And
GSW.
we're working with our local
Yeah.
companies and feeding the
And
information to
workforce management and all those things, so.
Yeah, and the province is involved, and yeah, there's lots of support
Perfect,
being
thank you.
offered. Yep,
You did the same thing with Brussels when that place burned
yeah,
down?
when the
and-
MDL doors
Did anybody
closed.
go there from the, do you have any?
I don't know,
uh,
we just provided the contact information to TG Minto of who the contact was at MDL doors, and then we let them work it out.
So that workforce sort of when that works out then. Thank you.
Yep,
Thanks.
Thanks, Belinda.
no problem.
Okay. Yes. Al, would you like to come up? Staff reports, Recreation Facilities Manager and the Palmerston Snow Kings Land Use Commission.
Hi. Tonight, I guess I'm speaking on behalf of the Palmerston Snow Kings. They're hoping to do some modifications to their trails that are currently in Minto. With the lands recently purchased by the town, running through from Greenbush up to Clifford, they were hoping to, they're seeking permission to use those lands as part of their trail system. If you'd have had an opportunity to look at the scribbly map that I gave you, it's kind of outlined on that. This, coincidentally, Mr. Grace did provide me a map from 2008 where that was the trails at that point. So what they're hoping is to go back to the trail system that they had in 2008. In saying that, they would discontinue the trail on the map that would lead from point 501 to 502, which is just north of Harrison, heading out towards Fordwood. That part of the trail would be discontinued.
Oh,
The trail does veer out and does bypass residential Clifford.
Yeah.
And Mr. Grace has been kind enough to show up if there was
Yeah.
any questions pertaining to the history or specifics to the trail system itself.
Questions?
yeah.
Counselor
So
Palmer.
all the trail that would need to go up to that Fordage line would go from 508 to 500 then? Like from Clifford to, I guess it's between Harrison and Fordwich.
Okay.
Join up between Harrison and Fordwich.
I'm sorry, I'm not following you, Ron.
Well, if you're discontinuing 501 to 502,
That's correct, yeah.
then that traffic would then have to go up to 508 and go across to
That's-
500.
Yes, that's correct.
Correct?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yep. It's more direct.
Leverage.
Yep. there it is.
Do we know how much liability insurance the snowmobile club carries?
I'll prefer that to Mr. Grace.
Terry, I believe that,
Yeah, you might come on right up.
There's Adeline again.
probably talk loud enough.
I tried to protect you, Ralph.
We do have, instead of me talking about it, Terry, I would refer you to Karen, pardon my, Berninsky. She's with the OFSC, and I would give you her email address, the phone numbers of the OFSC office in Barrie, and it would be better for you to contact her and go through her. We can do it as the Palmerston Snowmobile Club ourselves, but to get it right from Karen would be much better for you, okay? For all the insurance companies, I believe there's 5 insurance companies, and the dollar figures would be better to come from her, okay?
It's a big issue for municipalities, the liability insurance, because of this, what they call joint and several liability, which means there could be an accident on the trail.
Correct.
We own the trail, and we had nothing to do with the accident, but just by the fact that we own it, we're part of the potential lawsuit or civil suit or whatever might come from it, and I mean, $2 million is kind of standard for liability insurance, but $2 million today it hardly covers the lawyer's fees. It doesn't cover the lawyer's fees, so I think we need to know that, because there's certainly potential for accidents with snowmobiles, and we don't have to be at fault to be liable. That's the unfortunate part of it.
Ron?
It wouldn't matter actually how much insurance they have. It's good that they have a lot of insurance, but we will probably be named no matter what. Even if they had lots and lots of insurance, they go to the deepest pocket. And I would assume, and maybe this isn't fair to have the assumption that you've been dealing with trails across the town of Minto for many years through Palmerston and through Harriston and such like, if you're not, and the township. So I would assume that your insurance you would be fully covered.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah,
100%.
yes.
Okay, and under, what Terry asked there, I'm just going back to, when the town of Minto formed, there is an agreement, that you should have already on file, because we have it on file, and we can produce it, okay? That we talked to you and filled out, probably, an understanding form, prescribed snowmobile trail land use permission form, that you have on record. We have it on record that we, have talked to you and everything's been filled out.
Third party.
All the lots and concessions, all the roads, all the, just everything that we run a trail on is documented. And the OFSC has it, and you should have it too.
We've got
I
it.
guess what I was gonna ask you, and we've already got situations, we got pieces of town property that trails go over now.
Sure. That's correct.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be any different, Terry, than what we already have.
It's not gonna be there will be, the insurances, policies will be no different. Everything still would be 100% the way it is. All we're asking is, that we reactivate, from the 13th line of Minto,
Yep.
which is Greenbush, to the Minto-Howick boundary, which we will not be, going through the town of Clifford.
No.
On the back of Mike and Tracy Shouse, at the edge of Clifford, we will be coming off the railroad bed right at the back corner of their farm, and we are putting a gate and posts in, and we'll be going around the back of his farm. Mike and Tracy are building a brand new milking barn right now, and so before our trail used to go pretty close to his barn. And when we went through there, but now we will be going right around the outside of his farm, and they have given us permission for that. So the only change we really have is that we ran the trail up the railroad bed up till 2008, I believe, and we would like to. Then the land was sold, and we were asked to leave that part of the land, which we did, and we reactivated the trail across to Highway 87 on the Minto-Howick boundary corner. And there's a lot of agricultural land, a lot of fall wheat, a lot of farmers, cash crop farmers there that we always want to stay in good standing with. And this would be to our benefit, and it's also to the farmers' benefit that we stayed off the agricultural land.
Yep.
I just want to comment that any dealings, I've dealt with the Snow Kings for many, many years, and any dealings with them has just been fabulous. You guys are good with, you take care of your trails, you police your people, somewhat, mostly yourselves, and safe riders, and you use the trails for exactly what it is, recreational purposes, and everybody gets out of hand, you usually deal with that. And I do appreciate what you've done over the years, and what you provide for our community is good too. It's another recreation.
You guys have donated a lot of money to the community too.
Absolutely.
To different projects and that, and not only that, besides the economic upswing for this, like gasoline, the food that they stop for, and unfortunately cigarettes and gum and everything else they stop for it too. I think it's positive thing for Memco to have you guys.
Absolutely.
We bring trails, into the town of Harrison right now, and we have a trail that goes right through the town of Palmerston.
I was gonna say, we were right down to the restaurant.
Yeah, now we bring those in like that for the business. It's
But-
not for, that we wanna bring a trail, and we wanna, try and support and bring business
You
to.
come right by the back of my house, and I have never been disturbed by any of the,
Well,
and no one comes
Yeah.
running through. It's been
Yeah.
phenomenal.
And in
He's
Clifford, you come
disturbed
back
already.
into the redwood, so you have that. yeah,
Yes, that's where our trail ends.
Yep.
And, Hanover comes up
Up
through.
to there, yep.
To the Redwood, yes.
I just want to support what Terry's saying, though, to a point, that I think in the memorandum of understanding, there is no talk at all of insurance. And I think maybe it should be mentioned that I'd like to find out what they have, and that maybe it's entered in the memorandum of understanding that it has to be maintained.
It does mention that
It
they're
mentions it.
party to the OFSC in clause 2.
Clause 2, a remaining member.
Okay. so
Liability
party
insurance.
To the
We can
third
get some
party.
clarification, because we already,
But, yeah.
we already have existing
Yeah.
situations.
Right,
so-
but what if it is only $1 million and it's never been updated? It might be something that should be
Sure,
looked
there's
at
no
to be
dollar
updated
value.
to 5.
Yep.
I'm not in the position to say what our insurance policies cover, like the OFSCs. I believe that if you get in contact with the OFSC office through Karen Beninsky, you will get all your questions answered through her.
Like, I don't think that should stop anything we're doing tonight, but I would ask that staff bring that forward.
No, I understand, clarification on insurance.
Because some of these things, they go on for 20 years and you don't realize that they're so outdated and whatever.
Yeah.
Yous are probably, I don't know, like, I'm not the president of the Palmerston Snow Kings, but I do go to as many meetings as I can, and I will say that the Palmerston Snow Kings are in really good standing with the OFSC. And so, and like I said, I'm sure that any questions yous have, or concerns would be answered.
Through you, Mayor Bridge, I've had the trail go across the back of my farm for, I guess, as long as it's been in existence. The snowmobile club's been in existence, and I do know, I've asked that question almost yearly to ensure that there's proper insurance. The figure $5 million comes to my mind, but I can't swear to that.
I think it's fairly high.
And
Because that's
I've never had an issue, and I was given proof in writing at one point, and but I don't know what I've done with
I
it.
guess one of the concerns we have, there's a bit of a time concern for you, isn't there?
That's my next question.
Yeah,
Yes.
because you have to know in order to put the mapping in, right?
As of the first weekend in June, or it's
Yeah.
roughly June the 1st, is when these, any changes have to go into the OFSC. And we'd like to stay on top at our end, as the Palmerston Snow Kings, so we'd like to get any changes into the OFSC so that they're printed on the new map, so that we stay in good standing with the landowners. We obviously don't have snowmobilers, we can't oversee every snowmobiler out there, and sometimes we get people that come up, and I'm just gonna say right in Clifford, for example, the parcel of land you're talking about, is very well-traveled parcel of land by snowmobilers when it's not even a trail. Because there's so many people from the city that come up and unload in Harrison,
And they
Clifford,
run
or
it.
whatever, and they end up coming this way,
Yep.
and they stop and they're looking, they know that that's the way to get gas.
Exactly.
Yeah. The recommendation is that the Council of Town Meeting considers entering into a memorandum of understanding with the Ontario Federation of Snowmobile Clubs and Palmerston Snow Kings permit the use. Do you want to just put in there subject to clarification on insurance? Or?
I don't think it's necessary,
No,
Mr.
I
Mayor.
don't think it was necessary
I'll
to
back you up
stop
on that.
tonight's proceedings.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying it would be interesting to know for future and for,
Yeah, no, I think we'll
I know I
get
am.
information, get back to you on it, though, just.
I know I
so
am.
everybody knows.
You're pretty close.
Plus, we have 60 days to cancel if we want.
Yeah,
So I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
okay.
I'll second it.
Counselor Elliott, all in favor? Carried, okay?
Excellent.
Thanks, Fred.
One more
Yep.
question, George. So we, if you pass this, or we
Yep.
can go ahead with this?
We just did, yep.
and
We
yous
just
will-
passed it.
We just passed it,
Okay,
yep.
yous will add that on to your
Yes.
end, and we can add, we have those numbers, we'll add those lots and that on and send it in.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting
I'll
every,
find-
like, so the council knows where are we all, other spots. I know 2 or 3 myself, but there probably is more that they use our facility.
Do you want Karen's email address?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Before I leave here, I'll write it on
Yeah.
a piece of
Perfect.
paper and hand it in to you?
Excellent.
Okay.
Can we
okay.
read your
And-
writing?
And I'm gonna leave Al,
A map?
this is what we hand out, this has all the information in it, I meant to get it to you earlier.
Thank you.
And this is what we give the landowners every year, and here's a little brochure there.
Perfect.
That'll help us out too.
All
I'll
right.
give you both these if one counts.
Now you just, all you need is snow.
It always is a bonus.
Well, you know what, it didn't look good this year until February. It went well, didn't it?
Off the record, I guess, I've been involved with Palmerston Snow Kings for well over 30 years, and I'm the trail coordinator
Yeah.
right now, and looking after the trails, and the records I've kept in the last 10 years, that we started grooming, the earliest we've had our trails open was roughly January the 20th.
Right.
Now, that's not saying that we didn't have some snow and
No.
snowmobiling,
Yeah,
but that's the earliest we've had them open, but
Yeah.
this year was a few weeks later,
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay,
Thanks, you.
Thanks, Fred, thank
Thanks, Red.
you. Okay,
okay.
carries.
Everybody?
So Guy Bombardier, you know him then?
Ooh, personally?
Yep.
I also
I'll
know
just
her.
turn the mic over to Deputy Clerk Duff on this one, the
Okay.
Saugeen.
Okay, thank you, your worship. This is further to the Saugeen Summer Nights event that's coming up very rapidly, about 3 weeks away now. CBO Kuipers has been very thorough in determining the best routes through the town of Harrison. And the attached map shows where we're proposing that we'll have no parking zones. Fire Chief Harrow has been involved in this too. So there's no roads actually being closed. They're just restricted parking to allow access and shuttling. And so this is only considering the no parking area.
Questions? Counselor Faulkner.
Sorry, what a surprise, eh? I just been involved in this type of thing before. I would really encourage a letter be sent to each resident on that route, simply because people get visitors, they get into habits of parking in front of the residents and so on and so forth. And if we want a controversy, it's tow somebody's vehicle off that street during that period, regardless of how much it's been in the paper and whatnot. So I will support this, but a letter of information be sent to each residence on that route.
Okay, comment? Anybody else? Recommendation, do you want to add that to the recommendation?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the Council of Town Administrators receives the May 17th, 2013 report. The Chief Building Inspector sitting bylaw, asking about an open session regarding preventing parking on the following streets. June 13th, and then there's the streets, Young Street, going on, and it, at the end of that, say that all residents will receive notification.
And Ron Faulkner will drop them off at the.
Ron Faulkner.
Sure, absolutely.
Save us the stamp.
Absolutely, at $85 an hour.
Oh, well, maybe you better off to go with the stamp.
Did I say that out loud?
Okay, that's 4 hours. You can get that done in 4 hours. Anyways, well, I think we'll go the stamp route.
Cheaper.
And you can't collect mileage.
Can I have,
Well, I can't.
a mover and a seconder? Are you moving it, Ron?
Yes.
Counselor Hemley is seconding. All in favor?
Trick.
Okay, carried. Okay.
How are the tickets going, if I could ask? I'm sorry to interrupt.
You want to, you talk this
Preliminary
one.
reports are very well. It was a couple of weeks old, and the tickets are selling quite well, considering that was about 6 weeks in advance,
So
so.
we're gonna be upper of the level we're supposed to be, or what do they expect?
They are reasonably confident they'll meet the projections,
Which is the
which
projection.
is 12, maximum 12,000 on the Friday, and possibly the Saturday, and then probably a smaller crowd, maybe like 6 to 8 on Thursday. So those are the projections. Again, outdoor event, very weather dependent, but so far so good. The signs are encouraging.
It's encouraging, except I've never really seen any marketing.
It's in the Kitchener paper virtually every week, and it's on the radio, and
Which radio?
I think it's
The square
on
one?
country radio. That wasn't there yet.
Owen Sound?
Yeah, Orange Sound and PX
Going past
93
tonight.
there.
All right,
Yeah.
I just,
Going well.
it was amazing to me, that even our locals, you tell them who's playing, and they, no idea.
Well, we keep
Look for
telling
the
them.
green ads, and it's on the website. So,
All right,
put Counselor Falk.
I'm going to turn the chair over to Councillor Faulkner.
Thank you. There'll be less questions that way.
Oh, sorry, did you have a question?
Yeah, I just had a question, Mayor Briggs, for Treasurer Ford. Has there been lots of service groups, volunteers stepping up?
Yes, we had a really good meeting,
So we've
and
got enough?
I'm sure we do, yes. Very enthusiastic response, and there's so much work to do that it's going to occupy, I think, about 8 of the service groups too.
Beautiful.
Large and small.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Councillor Curtin. Okay. You're on.
Okay. Call on Chief Harrell to, first of all, give us a construction update, and I believe one was supplied in your package. The second thing Chief will comment on is the Safe Kids Day, and boy, I think that's just a great thing to take on, Chief. And then, of course, the new regulations for care facilities and retirement home. Chief Harrell.
Thank you, Chair Faulkner. The first one is just an update on the fire hall project. You obviously have been past it and see that it's well underway, and the blocking started, and we're moving up out of the ground, which is a good thing. You can see in here that there was a couple of hiccups when we were starting with the foundation. One was anticipated, one was not anticipated. But we overcame those, and I will say, in my opinion, at minimum dollars for the extra that we had to pay for the rear foundation and some more fill for the front foundation. As it says in the report, there is opportunities that we're going to have along the line with working with the contractor and the engineers to save money in other areas of the project that we're working at, trying to offset some of those, and at the end, when we get to the end, we do have the contingency fund still that's there if we do need to use it. So I'm confident everything's going well. They were small hiccups comparatively to what I've heard stories of otherwise, and I've heard stories on the street. So yeah, it's going well. We've created good working relationship with the contractor, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the way, the progress that we're making, so.
I think we should do them separately.
Any
Okay.
questions on that?
Any questions? Yeah. Deputy Mayor Fisk?
The photos or the views that you have here, the first one, what exactly is that?
You don't know what that blob is on the side of the building?
It's a mural.
It's just the way the picture came out. It's not,
That's supposed to be a tree.
yeah, it's just showing you the elevations of that. That side there is the side facing Leslie Motors. So here's the bigger picture of it, that it still has the blob on. They're 3D drawings that the architect did that aren't very good. But what it does show there are the elevations and what the side facing Leslie's is gonna look like from what we would call the Bravo Charlie side, the back corner there. So there is a small change with that last window on the bottom there, on that picture is being eliminated. So it's just gonna be blocked in, so, which again is a little bit of a cost savings for us, so. I do have, they're still 3D drawings in there, like, we haven't authorized them to spend any more money to do any more fancier 3D drawings. We're like, no, we don't care to get fancy drawings, just leave it as is, so.
And how are things going with the engineering firm?
Good, we've had a talk, I've had lots of chats with them, and we met with them and talked to them, and things are going better. There was some cost overruns that they had anticipated in the beginning, but we've ironed them out, that we're gonna try and do some stuff in the second part that they're not gonna add to the cost of it, so we're gonna come in, as it says, on the budget that we anticipate.
Okay. Any other questions?
You
Uh,
can, just one more, sorry, Chair, just
Sorry.
one more thing that you can see, that the reason I did like this picture is it shows you the mansard roof that goes around the building, and how it's gonna look, to draw the new part into the old part, and it really ties in quite nicely, I think, too, so.
And am I right, Chris, that I heard that the brick color is gonna be similar to the library?
Yeah, that was my distinguished choice this week, last week, to pick up brick color, which I am not a decorator. It was the part I was dreading the most about the project, but what we came to consensus is we're just using the exact same brick that they put on the library edition.
Cool.
We wanted to blend in with the old town hall, the library and that, so we might as well use the same brick, so the front will be the same brick as the library, and the shingle colors we're talking about next, to blend all them buildings in so that you can see
That's a
those
good
three
idea.
corners of Hairston, so.
Excellent. Any other questions? The recommendation is that the Council of the Town of Minto receive this report as information as an update for the Hairston Fire Hall project. Would somebody like to make that a motion? Thank you, Mayor Bridge. Seconder, Mayor Colwell. Another promotion. Councillor Colwell, all in favor? Opposed, if any? I declare the motion carried.
Safe Kids Day. This is a project that we've undertaken this year, with special thanks, and it's made possible because of the part-time employee that I have with me this summer, and one day a week. It's an idea that we borrowed off of the Saugeen Shores Fire Department in Port Elgin. They do a phenomenal day there. They put through over 2,000 kids in a day, or a couple days. So we're starting out small, and we're going to build it up. We've managed to partner with the Safe Communities. I think Safe Communities is now, it's not the COPS committee, it's Safe Communities
Correct.
group, which is led by the OPP. So Constable Todd Pridham is leading that group, and he's got a whole array of OPP paraphernalia coming up, from the seatbelt simulator to the rollover simulator to the horses to the bikes to you name it, they got it coming up. So what the theory is instead of us going into the schools, we bring the schools to us. So we're going to bus all of the schools, grades 4, 5, and 6 to us, including our Amish and Mennonite communities, which are on board with it too. So each group will have
That's huge.
about an hour and a half to come and go through the arena where we're going to be set up. There's a bike rodeo, and then Maitland Valley is going to be there, public health, our display, and they can go from display to display with a pass card. They have to get their card stamped to show that they are been attended each booth, and then they can put their card in at the end of the day for draws for some prizes. So, we're really excited. I'm just the spokesperson for it. Our public education division and our part-time employee have done a tremendous amount of work to get this ready, so we're pretty excited. So I encourage council to come by and stop in if you're around that day to take a look at it and see what it's all about.
Questions?
Just-
Councillor Elliott?
Just one comment. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Budget and dollars and cents for busing and all that, what's that all being covered by?
It's
and-
included in our public education budget. We have a public education budget that's
So
set.
what kind of dollars and cents is it gonna cost to put this on for a day?
I don't have there's been a budget done for it, but I think it's under $2,000 for the day for our costs. It's the busing, and we're giving each kid a hot dog and a water and
Yeah.
that types, and
Okay.
the giveaways. So, yeah, as you said, it was included in our public education budget at the beginning of the year, so, yep.
Mayor Bridge?
Just a comment, and you mentioned already, Chief Harrow, and is the fact that you got the Amish and the Mennonite community, and that's very important, and it's nice to see them there. Especially they're on the roads a lot, they have the bikes, and it's great that they were able to come on board with that.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're excited about it. They've been included in all of our fire education stuff, and they're very receptive to the ideas, and so it was they had no problem jumping on with this, because as we said, it's not a fire safe day, it's a safety kids day, because it's as much flood training to public health training to everything. So we're hoping to capture as much as we can with it.
Okay. Any other questions? Then the recommendation is that the council of the town of Minto receives the May 16th, 2013 report from the fire chief for information. We have a motion. Deputy Mayor Fisk, second by Councillor Turton. All in favor? Opposed, if any? I declare the motion carried.
The last one I have is just an update on the new regulations for care facilities and retirement homes. This was announced, I believe, 2 weeks ago. The association, which I sit, the Ontario Association of Fire Chiefs, which I sit on the board of directors, was key in pushing this forward. And it's something they've been working on for a couple of years, and it's actually right at the tail end of our annual conference, which we got to be a part of. So I was there as part of the board when Premier Wynne came to announce it, and we got to thank her and speak to her afterwards. And then we were also able to be part of the announcement at a care facility in Toronto when 3 different ministers were there to make the announcement. So pretty exciting and for the fire service and to have this change to the fire code and the building code. The reality is, it's going to be a little bit more work for the fire department to do, to enforce it, to be out there. There's enhanced inspections at all of our care facilities and nursing homes. There's a mandatory being part of their fire drills once a year to be there to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to and compliant with their fire safety plans that they have. So we don't have a grasp on how much extra hours and that's going to add to the fire department. We'll know after a year of kind of completing this. So it will add some workload to it, but at the end, it's a good thing for the province to have that, that ability to keep our vulnerable population that much safer. So.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions? Deputy Mayor Fisk?
Through you, Councillor Faulkner, I'm just wondering, does this legislation affect any place like James Way, which isn't a nursing home, but it's basically a senior's residence?
Those ones are the gray area. It all depends on the classification of the building. And we have to go through the exercise where we can call on help from the Office of the Fire Marshal and that to how we classify that building. So I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no. I honestly don't know. It's a gray area because it's like an apartment, but it's not an apartment. So,
so when or how do we find that out?
That's once it gets passed into legislation.
Okay.
Officially, it takes effect January 1st, 2014, is when this will take effect. Before then, I'm going to be doing some research and trying to figure it out. I honestly don't have an answer for you now.
Well, I
so
sit
guess
on that board, so it would be important for us to know because it's going to be a major expense if we have to fund something like that.
Absolutely, yeah. And I had preliminary discussions with fellow fire chiefs of buildings similar to that, and nobody knows.
Well,
So
as soon as you know, we'll know, I take it then.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And you'll know before the January 1st deadline for sure. That's it.
Good. Thank
As
you.
part of that, as part of that, too, that each municipality has to create an inventory of what buildings they have. It's a registry, they call it. So there has to be a provincial registry of every building that we have in the municipality that falls in this category. So that exercise then would take place, and this would be research that we'd ask for an expert opinion. Does it fall in or not? And make them make a decision, or help us make the decision either way. So that'll be included in the registry.
Councillor Turton?
Oh, thank you, Chairman Faulkner. When you talk of care facilities, that's basically the buzzword, care facilities. So,
Correct.
so what about the hospital?
The hospital is included,
Yeah.
but the legislation went as far as to exclude them from mandatory sprinklers. Reason being that I'm trying to think of the official, the cost prohibitive was for the hospitals was going to be a lot of money. And also the hospitals, what we were told through the Ministry of Health, has a long-term plan, capital plan for upgrading of hospitals, new hospitals, that type of thing, that they said as hospitals get upgraded, as they get built new, they're going to be looking at putting this in there. So they are not part of what we call the retrofit, meaning they have to do it within the time limit, like nursing homes, group homes, retirement homes. But the Ministry of Health has indicated that they do have long-term capital planning for those type of facilities.
Mayor Bridge?
Just more comment. I totally agree with with putting sprinklers in, and I know, Chris, you've been working on this for a while, your association. I wonder if Premier Wynne is talking about, the problem is, we put regulations in, we are kind of short of nursing home capacity now. We're going to have some, I look at your list there, I can see some that might have a hard time doing it and staying viable. So hopefully the government will come up with some kind of help for some of the organizations out here, especially in small rural communities, because not all our facilities are state-of-the-art. But some of them give good care, but they can't maybe retrofit where they are, and that's, they're very expensive if they do, and that would push some people out. And we're having trouble now finding spots. So,
I will say that the government did a good job in the fact that the Technical Advisory Committee, or the TAC committee as we call them, had representatives from they had Ministry of Health, retirement home community, nursing home community, all of the different associations it covers, the group home community.
Right.
They were all on the Technical Advisory Committee that wrote these regulations, as well as people from our association. So they did a good job in including the people that are actually
Good.
on the associations that this really affects directly. So hopefully they spoke for their membership when they were at this Technical Advisory Committee, but
I think there's some timeframes to get it implemented too, that give you some grace period.
correct, yeah. And retirement homes are 5 years. They
Yeah.
have up to 5 years to get the major part of the sprinklers done. Nursing homes are to be completed by 2025, so.
Right.
Any other questions? Recommendation that Council of Town of Minto receive the May 15th, 2013 report from the Fire Chief for information and support the Technical Advisory Committee for Vulnerable Occupancies recommendations. Do you have a mover for that, please? Councillor Hembley, seconder. Deputy Mayor Fisk, all in favor? Opposed, if any? I declare the motion carried. Turn the chair back over to Mayor Bridge.
And I'll turn it back over to Councillor Turton.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. Tonight, we have 4 items on the Public Works agenda, and we'll move right into, these are all fairly simple ones, I believe. So I'll ask our Public Works Director, Mr. Brian Hanson, to move forward on the first one.
Thank you, Chair Turton. The first one on the list, they're all 4 tenders that were closed on May 9th. The first one is our supply, load, and haul and spread of granular A. There's 3 people that quoted on it, and the lowest was the Murray Group. So they came in at $7.75 per unit, and total of quantity of 10,000 tons, $77,500. So we're recommending that they be approved for the hiring of the Murray Group at a price of $7.75 per ton.
Thank you. Brian, any questions on this?
I have a question, and it's maybe not to Brian, it's maybe more towards Treasurer Duff.
Sure.
All these quotes that we have, they never include tax, and I'm just wondering why that is. I know we get a portion of it back, but
Yeah, I try and make sure that whatever we are quoting on, we're quoting on the same thing. So it doesn't really matter if tax is in or tax is out, but we gotta make sure they're all the same.
yeah.
So what we do here is we're quoting on the net. So it's these prices here already include the non-refundable portion, which is the 1.76% that we get.
So
there.
the 775 includes that?
Yeah, like the total there, because I believe it's 74,000 or so it worked out to, and then you add your 1.76%.
So that's the only tax that we pay on
Yeah, because
that?
to me, that's the relevant thing, because we budget what's the net cost of
Yeah.
the town.
Well,
And that's where we've got the 80,000.
I mean, yeah, if we look at this quote and we add 13% to it, it's over budget.
Sure,
But-
but we don't pay the full 13%.
So is that all tenders are handled that way?
Or sometimes you'll see it includes HST, which I'm not a big fan of that one, because you're kind of overstating it. It doesn't cost us that much.
No.
It costs us the net amount.
So do we not pay the HST and then get it back?
Yes,
Yeah.
right. So it doesn't, it's an in and an out.
And there's no question about how much we get back, it's,
There's two different types. Now, for Public Works, we only get the rebate. You know, what it is, you get 100% of the 5%, 78% of the 8%. But when we're doing something where we're charging HST, such as an arena rental, it's more like a business transaction, and we get 100%. But that's primarily in the Recreation Department.
okay, thanks.
Other questions?
Oh, yes.
Go
Councillor
ahead, Councillor Faulkner.
Through you, Councillor Turton, I remember when we first took office 2 or 3 years ago, there was an issue on that we were given the wrong granular. Like, I think we got B instead of A or something like that. I recall an issue.
If
on
I was
that.
here, I'd probably remember that, but I wasn't here.
Oh,
for
you
that
weren't, it
portion,
wasn't
no.
you. Okay, I thought it was you.
No.
Just, what do we, how do we know we're getting the right product?
All of ours are tested. We ask for tests. We can ask for tests of the
Okay.
granular at any time, even before it even starts.
Okay,
We want to know what pit it's coming out of and what the test results are.
perfect.
Other questions? So the recommendation is the council receive Public Works Report 2013-13 from the road foreman, from our Public Works Director tonight, dated May 14th, 2013, regarding tenders 2013-03 supply, load, haul, and spread granular A, and approves the hiring of the Murray Group Limited at the tender price of $7.75 per ton plus applicable taxes. Can I have a motion, please? Councillor Hambley, Councillor Faulkner, all in favor of that? Against? That's carried. Thank you. The second one then is the calcium supply and apply the calcium chloride, and go ahead,
Okay,
Director.
this also closed on May 9th. We had 2 contractors submit pricing for it. Actually, I'm sorry, we had more than that. We had 4 apply for it. They had an option, 2 different options. One option was the regular 35% chloride, and the second is an equivalent to that. So whatever chemical they're putting on, they can boost it up to 35%. None of them did meet those requirements. So Daly was the only one that took the option 1, and they came in at 21,986.10, and it was 35%.
And that is,
So-
that is our standard?
That is our standard, yes. So on that note, the council receives a Public Works report from myself dated May 14th for the supply and apply of calcium chloride, improves the hiring of daily professional dust and ice management solutions at cost of $21,986.10, excluding HST.
Councillor Caldwell?
Here you go, Councillor Churton. When the tender would be put out, wouldn't they know that we have a 35%?
Yeah, stated right in it. But some of them, in most cases, they can't reach that 35% just because of the product they use. And apparently you've used the lower percentage, and in my experience, in other places, it just doesn't pull it off. It doesn't do what we want it to do.
So in their actually submission, they stated they cannot reach 35%.
That's correct. Yep, it shows it. Yeah, the way the tender's laid out, it shows that what they've had and what the total percentage is of the equivalent.
I'm sorry, just wanted, have we worked with Daly before? We have?
Yes, we have.
Yes, they had it last year, 2012. Daly had the dust control.
Other questions? Councillor Elliott?
Wondering where Daily, where are they out of?
I'm not sure. I really can't answer that. I'm not sure. where they're at.
Orangeville, isn't
Yeah, that sounds
it?
familiar.
Orangeville, I think.
Is it Orangeville?
Yeah.
Deputy Mayor Fisk?
I'm just wondering, is there, any environmental advantage to either of these as far as what's applied to the road and what?
No, none whatsoever.
Because I think chloride's becoming an issue in the drinking water. And are there alternatives out there, or is anybody looking? I'm sure somebody hopefully is looking at alternatives to do the same job, but maybe use less or something other than chloride.
I would imagine somebody's working on that, but I haven't heard of any new stuff coming up yet.
Yeah.
Other questions? So I'm not gonna read that recommendation again, Brian.
Sorry about that,
No, that's fine.
Chair.
So can I have a motion, Mayor Bridge and Councillor Elliott? All in favor of this motion? Against? That's carried. Thank you. The third one then we have is for the single surface treatment.
Yes, there was 2 tenders received on this, one from MSO Construction, the other Duncor Enterprises. It's for the single surface treatment. And we recommend that MSO Construction Limited get it at the price of 96 cents per liter for the supply and apply of HF 15 OS emulsion, and $29.80 per ton for supply and haul and apply of 3/8 aggregate at $26.85 per ton. And the haul and apply of a 1/4 inch aggregate also.
Questions? Councillor Faulkner.
Through you, Chair Turton, I take it that's tar and chip.
Correct.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you.
Sorry.
That's all.
Yes, it is.
I just wanted to make sure that's what it was.
Yep.
Councillor Deputy Mayor Fisk.
Chairman Turton, the price is $19,285.71 per kilometer. And how many kilometers are we doing?
We're gonna do whatever it takes to get up to the budgeted amount.
So
We-
to spend 220,000.
That's right, yeah.
So we'll do about
We didn't
12
specify.
kilometers,
Yeah.
11 to 12 kilometers.
That's all in the township of Mento? I mean, the town of Mento.
No.
So who tells them when to stop?
That's the job of my road foreman or my road lead hand on site.
You are duly
Trust me, we'll be monitoring it.
Okay, good.
Buzzer goes off.
Any other questions? Good question.
It was
Ryan.
priced out per kilometer. That's how we had it priced.
Can I have a motion? Thank you, Councillor Faulkner, seconded by Mayor Bridge. All in favor of that motion? Against? It's carried. Fourth item then is the Eaton Road. Asphalt.
Yes, this tender was sent out in April and closed May 9th also. There was 4 tenders received on this tender. Cox Construction, the Murray Group, Capital Paving, and Steed and Evans. As you can see there, that the Murray Group came in at the lowest at $212,862.80, excluding HST. And we were budgeted at 450, so we came in way under budget on that one. The price dropped immensely off that.
You might want to share that, the tonnage or the dollars per ton last year, or was that 2012?
2012, it was around 80, if I'm not mistaken.
2011, I guess.
2011,
$86 a ton?
yeah,
What is it now?
63, 64, somewhere in there.
Price of oil?
Questions?
Gas
Yes.
stays up.
Councillor Faulkner?
Me again, through you, Chair Turton, the thickness of
This
the,
is asphalt, yeah.
yeah, the thickness of the asphalt, and is it enough to carry the load of heavy trucks to make the road last?
Yes, it is.
So in the township of Mento, this money's being spent.
Right beside the town of Minnow.
Other
Yes, it
questions?
is.
Other questions? Deputy Mayor Fisk?
Yeah, through you, Chairman Turton. On our road tour, it was mentioned that the trend seems to be now to go back to gravel roads. And I'm
That's
just-
the trend everybody's taking for
Yes.
that.
and-
On the roads that can handle that, like the heavy traffic roads and
They
the
still-
what we
they'll
call
have to be-
collectors.
They'll have to be.
They'll still have to be
So
asphalt.
this road needs to be asphalted because of traffic.
It's a collector road, yes. I think it's classified as a collector.
So are
road.
we looking at in the future, the roads that are up for rebuild or whatever, that we'll be just graveling those roads rather than asphalting them? Or?
That's the direction I would like to take, but of course, it's up to council to decide how they want to go about doing that. It's less maintenance, less money, and I'm always looking for that savings, so.
Councillor Hembley?
You, Chair Turton, was it not been proven though that an asphalt road, the life expectancy is a lot greater than tar and chip or gravel, and it's less maintenance, or this has changed?
Depending on how it's built, number one, and the prices, the prices that you're getting for asphalt now was higher, now it's going in the opposite direction, for whatever the case may be. But on a major road, like a arterial or a collector road, you wanna make sure you have asphalt on those roads, just to take this.
Years ago, we had a gentleman come here and we talked about the advantage of asphalt as opposed to tar and chip and the gravel.
Yeah.
And like I said, the life expectancy and the less maintenance and.
Yeah, and there's other ways you can look at it too, like, how many people live on that road? I know the farmers, they have all this heavy equipment now that go onto those paved roads and tar and chip roads, and they do a number on those roads, like they get hit hard. So they break up a lot easier than a gravel road. They can pound as much as they want. We go and grade it, that's it.
Thank you.
3 kilometers?
Yes.
Is that?
Right from one end to the, no,
No, what are we, how much are we paving?
all of it.
No, but what is that?
There'll be more than 3.
Yeah, what is it?
3 kilometers total.
Three this time.
Oh, that's left to be paved.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's $70,000 a kilometer. And last year was much more than that, 2 years ago, so.
Yep.
Any other questions? So the recommendation here, the council receive the Public Works Report 2013-16 from the road foreman dated May 14th, 2013 regarding tender 2013-06 Eaton Road asphalt, and approve the hiring of the Murray Group Limited at the tender price of $212,862.80, excluding HST. Can I have a motion in place? Councillor Hembley, seconder. Councillor Caldwell. All in favor of that motion? Against? That's carried. Thank you very much. And I'll pass the chair back
Just,
to our... Oh, sorry.
Your chair.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
I noticed we've got a couple $100,000 that we're not gonna use in the budget that we expected that we put forth. Are you planning on putting that $200,000 in a reserve, or are you planning on putting it towards an unexpected road?
Into our
that we may
tree
want to
budget
do?
maybe?
Yeah, whatever, yeah.
I would imagine it's going back to wherever
I would
it's.
stay tuned, because
I think our treasurer will find a spot for it.
yeah.
Well done.
We're really happy about this one, but there's some coming up that we may not be so happy about.
I see. Thank you. Wait till all the roads are in.
So instead of borrowing $1 million, we have to borrow 800,000, is that what you're saying, Gordon?
Yeah.
No other questions? I'll pass the chair back to our mayor, Mayor Bridge.
You, Councillor Turton. Councillor Colwell, you can assume the chair, please.
And the Finance Committee has 4 items as well on the agenda tonight, and I'll ask Treasurer Duff to begin with the first one, which is our installation of our water meters.
Okay, thank you, Chair Caldwell. This is a joint one between Public Works and Treasury here. As you know, we selected Neptune computer meters to handle our water installation program. When we originally set this out, we were visualizing a 4-year process, so phasing it in, doing Palmerston this year, and then gradually bringing on Hairston and Clifford. We had a meeting with the contractor, and they proposed doing everything, all 4 systems in one go. And while that may be very financially responsible, I don't think that we have the staff, the capability of handling that. However, there are some reasons to maybe proceed a little faster than we thought. Part of it is getting up to speed, and they can do that in a smaller number of times. It'd be easier than doing it 4 times. What we're thinking of doing is continuing on with Palmerston and perhaps Minto Pines in 2013, and Hairston and Clifford in 2014. So we kind of ramp up, take a bit of a break, and then ramp up again in the spring. It would save a bit of money, as I say, mobilization of resources and that too. Public education, I think, would be a little less confusing if we can say that all customers will go on to the metered rate at one point. I think it would kind of reduce that whole aspect of where I'm on flat and my neighbor's on meters and the changeover, and allows us to obtain some more data. It still would be, I'm estimating, 12 to 15 months before we would actually convert. Once we get the data, we can bring in our Watson Associates consultants, and we know that we have to make a decision between delivery charge and consumption charge, and this will give us some better information to work on. And perhaps if you want to say from the Public Works point of view and an operational standpoint.
Well, basically, you touched on it. If their proposal is 1 year, we just don't have the manpower to do that all in 1 year. 2 years, we can get by probably with that, doing all the towns in a period of 2 years, but 1 year is just crazy. We can't do it.
Yes, questions?
Chair Caldwell, what manpower or person power from the town of Minto is required? Like this company goes, they install the meters, correct?
Yes, correct.
So what is the demand of our staff?
Well, we have the right up to the property line, right up to the water shut off. For the connection, we gotta inspect those connections and.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what get to the right answer.
We can shut the water off on that, and somebody's gotta oversee their work, right? So,
So we take the whatever line in from the road into the shut off.
that's right.
And does that have to be new when we install these?
No, it can be
It's
existing.
already there then.
It can be existing, but nobody's allowed to shut off our systems except for us. So if we have to shut that and exercise that valve, say that valve's not working, that shut off valve.
Yeah.
If we turn that and it busts, break open, and then we have our guys there to replace that curb stop, then it's our guys that have to do that work.
Okay, so we have to allocate one person minimum?
1 or 2 people, yeah. And it's not really allocating as when they need it, right, to do that? Because we gotta make sure all our valves are working for that process, so.
This is probably a good thing too. Make sure that
Oh, sure.
if there's faulty valves that
Well,
could
I
break it in.
Not just on our mains, just on our,
Yeah,
That's right, yeah.
So this is probably a good thing.
Yep.
So let's put the extra manpower on, get her done.
That's what we're planning on doing. We just can't do it in 1 year, like,
No.
that's a lot of people to switch over onto the meter
The
system.
other thing that
Sure,
Good.
that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Treasurer Duff should also mention
Yeah,
about
the
the budget
finance,
that we have.
yes.
for the-
Yep, that's the other implication. You'll remember, this isn't what we passed in the budget. We passed $500,000. So we're basically saying it's gonna be closer to $1 million.
Hey, 200 grand right there, you say.
Yes, yeah, although it's a different pot. So, we're going to go to the debenture market anyway, probably along with the County of Wellington this fall. So what we're proposing is, if you accept this accelerated work plan, I will go and bring back an amended budget to you. It won't have any effect on the tax levy. We're only gonna change the amount that we borrow. Again, why we don't want to do it like right now and get in a big hurry is we don't want to borrow money that we don't need right now. So the fall was fine. Hopefully the first payment will be in 2014. And there are some savings for the lawyers and the debenture agent and that too, if we can combine into one. And as you know, there's indications that we have to borrow for previous expenditure up in Clifford, and perhaps some on behalf of our medical community as well too. So if we can do that in as few steps as possible, that'll be good. But again, how you see fit, I'm going to be in.
Plus it gives us
contact
time
with
to
them.
monitor, like, how the changes go during that period of time too,
Yeah.
so.
And for the homeowner, there's going to be leaks and things like that.
Yep.
So we can put all the infrastructure in place as far as leak detection and all that too. Meanwhile, we refine the actual rates that we're going to come up with.
Yes, Mayor Bridge.
Yeah, and what I like about this plan, Gord, is the fact that we'll put everybody on, we won't have somebody on flat and somebody on a different town. I think doing it this way, it gives everybody goes on at the same time. We'll have a good idea of what our costs are gonna be. We can get that study done so we can get out to the public and tell them this is what's gonna happen. Just one exercise that way, I think that makes a big difference.
Through you, Chairman Caldwell, in the comments, you say there would likely be a cost savings. That's not very convincing.
Well, I was gonna say, there should be, it would make more sense if you do something twice instead of 4 times. It's gotta be cheaper. So it's gonna help with our staff and with public education. Like, say maybe instead of having a meeting going on for like 3 different years, we can do it in, a couple of sessions, things like that. Again, some of that cost savings will be hidden too, because when we debenture, say we're gonna borrow $1 million, our proceeds are gonna be like $975,000, because all those costs, the transaction costs, are deducted. It's like a real estate transaction, so maybe this will give us 980. I wouldn't make that the primary thing. I'm not trying to argue that you're gonna save all kinds of money, but I think, as the mayor said, I think it's a much more rational approach. And it comes with some challenges, like we're gonna have to move to the top rate very quickly.
Yeah, we're not gonna be very popular, having just dealt with the water rates and given them a bit of a break and said that, we're preparing you for an increase in 2017, and then here we are in an election year, telling them that we're going to escalate it to 2014.
That's it. There are some drawbacks, and I think our popularity will be selective, because some people are just dying to have a meter,
Yes.
and some people are dreading going on a meter.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
That's right.
we're gonna make some friends and not so many friends.
Do you really think that's gonna change your popularity, or you do?
Don't know. Doesn't matter.
I'll vote for yes.
The last thing is, the debenture, what would approximately what
Right
the
now,
terms
the terms are like phenomenally good. They're like 2.5% or so, and like, we're talking long-term money.
How long?
10, 20, perhaps even more. We say this every year, we've never seen rates this low,
So if we can stretch the debenture out, can we lessen the pain when it comes to increasing the rates?
That's one of the things to consider. Now, as you know, from a banking mortgage point of view, the longer the term, the longer the overall, and the higher the rate, and the higher overall interest cost of the transaction, but it is a consideration,
So
certainly.
it's a juggling act.
For sure.
I think probably, Gord, you'd have an exercise where you could have a couple of options.
Oh, definitely.
Based on a 10,
yeah.
a 15, and 20, Terry, and just sort of see what your overall costs are and how that affects when the consultant does the figure. The thing is, like, we won't be actually instituting the rates till after 2014, or just about 2014. And it only be and the beauty of that is it's not going to be, if you do it now, you'd have some people on it at the higher rate, or whatever the rate's gonna be, and some people on flat, so there'd be that.
Yeah,
that,
in the original plan, we were envisioning the existing flat people continuing to subsidize the metered
Yeah.
people, and you're gonna get away from that issue. It's a little
Fair.
bit, if you think of capping for taxes, it maybe smooths it out, but it prolongs the inequalities.
It probably won't take effect to 2015 though, Terry, January 1st, I'm thinking.
January 1st, they'll be out there though. Yeah,
We can't control
See
that.
what
It
happens.
might.
It's part of the deal.
Deputy Mayor Fisk.
Just one more question. So if we get them installed this summer in,
Summer, fall, yeah.
will we be able to collect data from those?
Yes.
And we'll have that data to give us some idea of,
Exactly.
Where we're going.
yes, like how
Yeah.
much is being actually used and how
Yeah.
much are we gonna be charging for?
Like, we have an assumption of 270 cubic meters per household, and that's based on old data that CN Watson had, and I don't think any of us believe that one, so, yes.
Good.
Councillor Hamley.
Good year, Chairman. Brian, question for you, I know the answer, but believe it or not, It's to our benefit, go on the meters, and people will probably use less water. And that will be a benefit to the municipality,
Most certainly, yep.
because
Well, number one, because the rates of the water, right, they'll be a little bit more conservative on how they're using their water and where they're using their water.
and it costs us thousands of dollars to treat that water.
It
If they're
does,
using less, we're not using,
that's correct, yes. You did know the answer to that
And
question.
likely at the end too, the septic, when it all gets out, and when people are using less water, that we'll have less going to the.
That's correct, yep. For your sewage plants and sewage treatment.
Councillor Elliott.
We're asking that we're going to have the opportunity, as a council, as a town, to read those. Are the people that we install them, and will they have the opportunity to see how much water they're using too, whether they're, I know we're not charging them on the meter, but will they have the opportunity to see?
On the
how
bill,
it
on the
works?
bill, you mean?
Like
that
say,
they're gonna?
we're doing Palmerston and Echo Pines first, so when they're done, will they have the opportunity to read it, even though we're charging them the flat rate? But
I would imagine be right on their bill, but they won't be charged
That's
for
right,
it.
I know
That's
we're charging
correct,
flat
yes.
rate.
But they'll know
they'll
how
know
much,
what gallons or
yeah, how much quantity,
liters
yeah,
they're using.
yes.
Thanks.
Okay, are there any other questions? Yes,
Councillor Col, or Chairman Colwell, it'll be a lot like, Union Gas, hydro. a
Hydro,
bill.
yeah.
There's,
Be a user fee in there.
Yep,
delivery cost.
it'll be well, spelled out.
Yep.
We'll know.
We want to keep it simple. Are there any other questions? Okay, the recommendation is the council of the town of Minto accepts modified accelerated work schedule, which would include the installation of water meters in Palmerston and Minto Pines in 2013, and the completion of this project in Harrison and Clifford in 2014. The council directs the treasurer to bring forward an adjusted capital budget before proceeding with the related debenture funding. May I have someone make that motion, please? Deputy Mayor Fisk, seconded by Councillor Turton. All in favor? Any opposed? Yes, Councillor Henley? Motion is passed. And Councillor Duff, Councillor Treasurer Duff. You're sitting up here.
Well, you're doing everything now.
There you go.
Now, Counselor.
Whatever.
Now, if you would speak on the Green Energy Act regulations.
Certainly. Thank you, Chair Caldwell. This is for information. I think we've all been to seminars about the Green Energy Act and how it affects municipalities. So the first thing is July 1st, 2013, is to establish a baseline for future energy conservation measures. And that's basically compiling data. And I had a lot of help from my co-op student, who's now gone, and Public Works personnel, Recreation personnel, and our building official and that too, so, and Jackie and Treasury too. So basically, we're taking all the buildings that the town owns that we either heat or cool, and we're trying to see what energy we're using. So it's electricity, it's gas, this particular building, it's propane, and we establish a baseline. We've also been using the free help of LAS, which is a division of AMO, and they have a template. So we're using that as a place to deposit our information. Then in turn, the Ministry of Energy recently came out with a template that we will actually use to report on. So then we'll look, and we're not going to leave this for a year, but later in the summer, whatever, we'll look at how are we going to address the much more onerous provisions that come into effect July 1st, 2014, to get into energy audits and things like that too. But I think, as I said before, I think we can do this part without outside help, and hopefully we'll get that done.
Okay, does anyone have any questions? Yes, Councillor Elliott.
I just wondering, you're saying we're gonna look at all our buildings, will that include buildings like the train station in Palmerston and the train station in Harrison and
Yes.
the Drew Hall? and
Yeah.
Our building and
Not the Drew Hall, the only reason is...
Drew Hall doesn't get
Yeah.
special again?
Yeah, the only reason is we don't pay that hydro bill. If we paid the hydro bill, yes, we would, but under the terms, they pay the hydro there.
I see.
kind of complicated buildings are arenas and some of our town shops, because some of them aren't cooled, like maybe where we park the graders and that, we don't cool that, so we only reduce it to the office part or whatever. And the arena, again, it's maybe the, you know, the lounges and the auditoriums, as that's what we focus on, so we've obtained the information for both of them.
So even though it's our building, we're not going to audit it to see?
Under the terms of this, we can still do whatever we want, like we can
Yes.
do it all too. But what we're reporting on, we're only reporting on the square foot of the part that's heated or cooled.
Yeah, I would think it'd be important for them, if it's our building, that we give them some information that they would need too. I mean, we might as well include them if we can.
Well, I think it saves some money on
Yeah,
that.
they would save money on that.
Yes, although I have to follow the definitions that they're asking for,
I
and
see.
this is what they're going.
They can do that on their own too, Ron.
Oh, sure.
Are there any other questions?
Yes, Chairman Caldwell. So basically, any, I mean, how many of our buildings have separate meters? Likely all of them. So if
Pretty
we
much
get-
all of them
if we
do,
get
yeah.
50 hydro bills, that's likely the ones we audit.
Yeah,
Or
pretty much. And
kind of cut and dry
I'm gonna
for you.
put street lights in, even though that's an option, but certain things, like we've got a lot of pumps and things like that, that maybe for our own interest, we're interested in, but as far as this particular legislation, they're not covered by it.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any other questions? Then the recommendation is that the council of the town of Minto accepts the treasurer's report dated May 14th, 2013, and the approach of town staff to meeting the requirements of Green Energy Act 2009 Regulation 397-11. Would someone make that motion? Councillor Faulkner, seconded by Councillor Turton. All in favor? Motion is passed. And next on the agenda is the approval of accounts.
Sure. There's just a couple of maybe unusual items. You'll see admin is very high. Well, about 125,000 of that is debenture debt payments. So I'm just talking about, that's how they appear. So they're in operating. People and property, that represents the costs in this particular period of our cleanup from the ice storm. We've put in, as you know, last council meeting, we put through a resolution. We've submitted the form. I wouldn't count on any funding, but we've had a couple of conversations with municipal affairs. I think there is a possibility now. I think a little while ago the possibility was very remote. It's still a long shot, but it sounds like they've allocated their first pot of money and they are looking at other damages. I think this was a much more destructive storm maybe than we first thought the first day or two.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any questions on any of the accounts? Then the recommendation is the council of the town of Minto receives the CAO clerk and treasurer's report dated May 13th, 2013 regarding approval of accounts and approves the town of Minto accounts by department for May 2013. Would someone make that motion? Councillor Elliott, seconded. Councillor Hambley, all in favor? And our final report is on tax arrears extension agreement.
Yes. At present, the municipality has engaged in registering a tax arrears certificate against a property. We have been approached by a mortgagee for that property to entertain a 3-month extension of the deadline for the cancellation price to be paid. Staff is willing to consider that, and we bring it forward. A 3-month only extension is what's recommended. This will put the town in basically the same position, and any interest or additional tax payments that occur between June 15th and September 16th will be included in the cancellation price, as well as any other fees, legal fees or registration fees.
Okay, are there any questions? Councillor Faulkner.
What are the ramifications if we don't grant the extension?
Then it'll still be June 15th, and it'll be in the same price.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes, Councillor Trenton, or you'll make the motion? The recommendation is that the council of the town of Minto accepts the treasurer's report dated May 15th, 2013 regarding a tax arrears extension agreement and considers the passage of the related bylaw during open session. Counselor Churton has made the motion, Counselor Hamley will second it. All in favor? The motion is passed. I turn the chair back to you, Mayor Burge.
Yeah, at this time, I'm going to take another computer break, mainly for myself. So if we can just give us 5.
Okay, talk amongst yourselves.
Okay.